All right, so how to trust your own intuition or your own intuitive guidance. This is one of the things that I was struggling with for years, and I had to come to a thorough understanding of um, of this scripture that came to mind the other day. That was Proverbs 3 and 5. So a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, used to say this proverb, to text it to me all the time, and Jeremiah 33 and 3. I now get the metaphysics, especially him being a Libra, of those two things in my life and what they mean for me. And even as I teach it to you, I'm really starting to understand what they prevalently meant in my life. Is two things. I'm gonna talk about those two scriptures: Jeremiah 33 and 3, and Proverbs 3 and 5. So that means call into the universe for what you want. Jeremiah 33 and 3, which means that call on me and I shall appear with great and mighty things. And call on me and I shall appear with great and mighty things. And I don't see me as a God and a mystical God in the sky. As called as your higher self, your higher mind, your subconscious mind. Calling your subconscious mind, and the evidence shall appear. And where that falls in line was the Proverbs 3 and 5, where it says to trust in the Lord, your own imagination and intuition, and lean not on your own understanding. And lean not on your own understanding means your physical conditions, meaning your present condition. Lean not on your own physical conditions, and he shall direct your path. So your intuition, your instinct, you have to act on your instinct so you can move forward in the action that you are taught. I call it I L I am I L M I L no IILM. So that's intuition, instinct, logic, manifestation. So usually your intuition will tell you something. You have to act, which makes it instinct or instinctual. Logic. The logic will appear, the shit that makes sense, the 1 + 1 = 2, and then the manifestation will clear when you trust the instinct through the logic, because it may not, according to your own understanding, it may not make sense to you because it is new behavior. And I had to come to this thorough understanding of, this trust in my own intuition, because a lot of times it's all I have. Going back to the drawing board, I do a lot of automatic writing. The spirit speaks to me a lot, and the divine speaks to me a lot, and I write it down, or it comes through me, and that trusting that is a lot of times the only method of understanding outside of the logic that appears in my life to really grow. Because if I don't trust myself, trusting other information won't really work. And that's why I see where it starts, where you have to trust your own gut, your own guidance, your own intuition, your own devices. Because a lot of times when you're not taught to trust your own devices, it's hard, at least for me, to trust somebody else. It's hard to trust somebody else's thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and emotions when you don't trust your own. You don't love your own. You don't care about your own. And you really have to come to the strongest opinion of trusting your own devices. Why? Because there will be many times in life where that's all you got. So Proverbs 3 and 5 said, trust in the Lord in your imagination, your own intuition, and lean not on your own understanding. Meaning your physical devices, your current situation, almost forget about it, because it does. In other words, that scripture is saying it doesn't even matter about your physical devices, and He, meaning the masculine, the logic, will be provided to you in the direction of your steps. So, meaning the steps, meaning how to move forward, will appear if you trust in your own devices. I mean, trust in your own imagination, your own energy, etc., etc. So, but that also ties back to Jeremiah 33:3, where it says, "Call on me, and I shall appear with great and mighty things." So when you do act, when you do have a desire, when you do have these, in 3:3:3, meaning your angels are around you, the masters, teachers are around you. You do call on the universe for those things that you do need, you do want, you do desire, and they will appear. Believe me, they will appear. But you must trust them and lean not on your own understanding. Because for me, that happens for me a lot. I have to trust not on my own logical understanding. And that also means, when I say logical, that means the programming that you were taught. A lot of the times, and I even had to write this down today, the programming you were taught is good for the level that you're on. So when Ed Milet says, you're not good enough for your next level, you're good enough for where you are now, what that means is, on a deep subconscious level, the programming that you were conditioned to have is not good enough for your next level. So with that being said, there's going to be a certain programming that you're going to have to rewire your brain to get to this clear, thorough understanding. So you don't go back down per se, because you're wired different. That's kind of why, but Eric Thomas says he's wired different because he reprogrammed himself to think in a certain way, because he's no longer leaning on his own understanding per se. So that's why he gets up at 3 a.m., Jeremiah 33:3, to speak to those ascended masters, those guides, etc., etc. And a lot of people who wake up at 3 a.m. are highly successful because they don't lean on their own understanding or their own, let me not even say understanding, they don't lean on their own conditioning, whether it be their parents, their environment, their situation, their finances, etc., etc. So that's why I was actually challenged maybe a couple years ago to wake up at 3 a.m. to lean not on your own understanding. A lot of the time, that's how I became more successful. I didn't lean on my own devices. So, in many regards, even the Scorpio nature of borrowing other people's devices, borrowing other people's resources, you have to develop a certain trust, a certain integrity, a certain discipline that most people don't understand, especially coming from a Taurus perspective of claiming, dominating, even though they both dominate, but they both dominate in two different ways. They just, like, Taurus dominates from a controlling perspective, and even though they both like control, but Taurus is like control from a senses perspective. They lean on their understanding. The Scorpion doesn't really do that. A lot of times they go into the unknown and they dominate in every single way. So that's where I'm trusting, to lean not on my own understanding. So I challenge you to do that. That's how you really trust your intuition, to lean not on your own understanding. Because the second you do, or your own, let me just say understanding, your own conditioning. Because the minute you lean on your own understanding or your own conditioning, you will fail. I believe me, I'm trying this shit. It don't work. So lean not on your own condition, because your condition is not good enough. Your conditioning, your understanding, your logic is not good enough for your next level. And that's how you trust your intuition.